Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be live. Oh my gosh. It's been forever. It's been what feels like forever. Say hello when you pop on. I am going to start this Teams meeting over here. It is still storming at my house. Hopefully you can hear me still, even though. So let's get this started over here so we can post that. Say hello when you hop on. Hi, everyone. Okay, here we go. Paste. There we go. Let's see if I can pin this. Okay. Hi, Candy. All right. So if you are wanting to join along, the Teams meeting is posted in the Makeup for Dummies group, and so you can do that by joining in there. So first things first, I'm going to do the drawing for these Coach earrings. So anyone that purchased the highlight and contour bundle for today's class is going to be entered to win those earrings. So I'm going to go ahead and do that drawing. And then if you request to join the Teams meeting, just let me know. There we go. Hi, Ginger. I'm good. How are you? Is it storming at your house? I thought so. When I looked at the radar, actually, because when the power went out, it wasn't bad, right? Like it wasn't that bad here. And when I looked at the radar, I saw that like up where you are was like way worse than where I'm at. It has gotten worse here now, but it wasn't when the power went out. I was like, why did the power just go out? Ours did too, like 4 times, and then it went out. Sharon, yeah, I hate that too, because with these where you guys can do your makeup along with me, it's like frustrating because you guys are just waiting. I didn't know what to do. No, I know. Without let's see what this together mode does. What are we doing here? Oh, that's not gonna work. There we go. Let me see here. So do you guys see me as the main screen, right? On the Teams meeting? Okay. All right, Sharon, I just put your entry in there, and then Sharon gets additional entries because she ordered during the last class. Hi, Amber. Me too. So I'm going to do this drawing for these earrings, these Coach earrings. And then anyone that shares this video, I'm just going to do one share drawing at the end because I'm trying to see like kind of which ones create the most engagement. I'm going to do a share drawing at the end for 5 lipstick samples, 5 Matte Matters samples. So anyone that shares, and you do not have to be present to win that, and that'll be at the end of this video. And then also during this video, anyone that has any ideas for the next class, please put those in the comments, and we are going to take a poll, hopefully during this class, to see if we can get that underway. Penny Simone is the next one. All right. Why is this doing this? Do you guys over here on the Teams meeting, do you see the screen as well, my screen as well? Because it's showing me the Facebook group also. Or no, that's someone else's screen. Say that again, Ginger, sorry. Wonder why. figure that out because that just did that out of nowhere. I don't know if I can actually like get rid of it though. It's showing for me that it's Sharon, but I don't know how. Isn't that weird? Well, we gotta get that part figured out. Yeah, like it is. So it might have to be that you have to click like sorry, I don't know what this is doing. That you have to click for it to not show your screen. There we go. Now I think I can just view everyone and then hit mute. All right, guys, there we go. We'll get there. You can probably hear it storming at my house. It's just, that's just what it's going to do, I think, right now. And for me, there we go. Okay. Thanks, Candy. Hi, Candy. Hi, Candy. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Let's do Ellen Hughes. I'm just doing this drawing first, and then we're going to get started, guys. If anyone has any ideas for the next class, please put those in the comments. We're going to try to take a poll so that we can know what our next class is going to be. Kara Leos, Pam Huff, Candace Frollo, Sharon again. Hi, Pam. All right, and then Barbara Schellhammer. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. There's only a couple more, guys. Pam Huff again, Ellen Hughes again, and then Pamela White. Hi, Diana. How are you? And then anyone that shares this video, I'm going to do a share drawing at the end, and it's going to be for 5 Map Matters samples. All right, guys, here we go. So that is for the Coach earrings that we gave away for anyone that ordered the beauty bundle. And the winner is Sharon Hoffmeister. Woo. Please don't look at my handwriting, Sharon. I'm sorry that I'm sloppy. Listen, okay, so Candace messaged me the other day because it took me a minute to get the giveaways all sent out from our last class. And so I had this. What I do is I like take the giveaways. I'll show you guys what I do. And I like put your names on these stickers, and then I like put the sticker on the item so that when I send it to shipping, they know where it goes, right? So this is what Candace's sticker looks like, and there was no item for her, and I literally forgot what she won. So this is what it says. Now, if any of you can make that out, I was like, did she win a Cocoa brow pen? And so I was about to message, I actually had it on my list, message Candace about what she won, because otherwise I was going to have to watch the entire video, right? So she messages me the other day, and she's like, hey, I never got that brush collection. Ready? Brush collection. I can't make this up. I was like, wow, that's incredible. So my handwriting, especially when I'm doing things like this, it's just not. I can do makeup, but sometimes my handwriting just doesn't match that. But you're welcome, Sharon. Congratulations. And we're going to get started, you guys. Don't forget to put in the comments what you would like our next class to be. Hi, Andrew. Hi, Toby. Hi, everyone. So there's a couple things. I've been taking notes of things that I for sure wanted to make sure that I taught you guys today. So we will start there. The first things first, we are going to put on a thin layer of foundation. Really doesn't have to be thin, just I do foundation first. You'll see makeup artists that do it second after highlighting and contouring, but because we're going to be using cream for all three, foundation, highlighter, and contouring, or I say highlight and contour, we're going to do that with hide and seek concealer. We are going to go in with bronzer and highlighter after that to kind of just pop those features a little more, but I'm going to be showing you basically both ways, and we're going to start with the cream. Because we're starting with cream, then we can blend, and we do not have to do the foundation second. People have different preferences, but the majority of makeup artists that you see are going to do their highlighting and contouring after their foundation for the most part. Some people I think just think it gives you a more natural look if you do it after, because your foundation is hiding a little bit of that, I feel like, when it's done that way. I like to, especially if I'm using hide and seek concealer to do my highlight and contour, then it's going to chisel that cheekbone and we're going to make it pop. So that is what I like to do, and that's the way I'm going to show you guys today. And then if anyone tries to join the Teams meeting because you want to follow along video to video, if I don't see it right away, please put it in the comments of the video so that I can know to accept you on there. Thank you, Andrew. All right, so I'm going to just put on some foundation, and then we'll go from there. I put primer on also before this because I put a good layer of it on after my lotion, and then I let it dry really well. And so I always do that right after my lotion. So I just did that before I got on here. So actually it's priming first and then foundation technically. So. Pam, I use the shade Hazelnut. It's a neutral shade of, it's in the neutral line of our foundations. And then once I'm tan, I haven't been outside enough lately to get a tan yet, but once I have a little bit of a tan, I go up to the shade Sable. So in the neutral category, it is Fawn, and then Bamboo, and then Hazelnut, which is what I have on, and then Sable. Fawn is very, very light. Bamboo is probably 2 shades lighter than I am right now. Sable is probably 2 shades darker than I am. A little bit more. I like a full coverage, especially if you're going to use hide and seek to highlight and contour. It's kind of a full coverage look anyways. But because our foundation is full coverage, I just really like to use it for what it's worth. You know what I mean? Because that's its job, and it does that job really well. Okay, so obviously you can see when you put foundation on that is the same. Like if you look at my face, you can see that it matches the skin tone of my neck, which means that I have matched my foundation, shade matched it perfectly. And there's no dimension to my face yet, right? There's no really there's no contouring. It's just one solid color. So I always recommend choosing a foundation shade that's closest to your skin tone as possible, and then creating that dimension with highlighting and contouring versus trying to select a foundation shade that's too light for you and then having to overcorrect, or in most cases, people are selecting a foundation shade that's too dark for them because they don't know how to highlight and contour, and they don't want to look pale. Like, to me right now, I look pale, but I'm not actually pale. It's just that my entire face is one shade. And so that's the difference there. Hey, Rhonda. Hey, Patricia. So I gotta get my notes out, guys. I don't want to miss anything. So the difference between, just where to start, the difference between contouring and bronzing. So today we're going to do contouring first. We are going to go in with some bronzer at the end, but the difference is that with contouring, you're actually creating depth, and with bronzing, you're just kind of creating warmth. And then the two of those combined is pretty drastic, or can be pretty drastic, right? But contouring, the reason that this product is called hide and seek is for that exact reason, right? Because contouring is hiding the things that you don't want to stand out. Highlighting is seeking the things you want people to see. And then the concealer part of that is just hiding blemishes. And so, for instance, shade 16, which I'll show you this, is pretty close to the shade of foundation that I wear. It's a little bit lighter, but if I had blemishes right now, I could take this shade 16 prior to my foundation, and I could have went in and just kind of tabbed a few spots, and then with my foundation, it would have blended out. And so, yeah, it's a little lighter, but that's okay. And you could use that as your highlight color too. I'm going to be using 00, and I'll show you how light that is. And I might use a little bit of 16 as well. It really just depends. Like, sometimes, especially if you're ever out in the sun, your skin tone will change a little bit as far as like whether you're super dark or super light. So if I have been in the sun quite a bit, then I might not want to use 0 or 00. Sorry, I have concealer all over this pod, so it's kind of gross, but I'll just show you how light this one is. Hi, Patricia. So we'll use a little bit of both probably. And then for contouring, I'm going to use shade 18. Now, I've seen a lot of videos where people are like, I really like seeing when someone uses a shade that's just a few shades darker than their tone. But I'm going to show you how to contour with this darker shade, because less is more. You don't have to use very much of that product at all. And for me, it creates, when you go a little bit darker than the 3 to 5 shade rule, because obviously that's more than that many shades darker than my face, you're going to really be able to hollow that out and create the depth that you want. And you can layer it if you want to go, more chiseled. You can lay off of it a little or blend it a little more. If you don't want to be as chiseled, completely up to you. And then another difference is that contour is always matte, a matte finish like this, and bronzer will have like that shimmery effect. So when someone, and I'm so guilty of this, right? I can give you all the tips, but it doesn't mean I follow them all, but I can tell you the reasonings. If you just use bronzer for your contour, it can sometimes look a little muddy because you have to use so much of it to get that depth. I'm lazy with my makeup a lot, and I will go in and just slap some bronzer on to give me some color, and I'm out the door. It doesn't usually tend to look too muddy on me because I'm not trying to create depth with it. But if you're someone that's really trying to darken that area with a bronzer, it can muddy out a little bit. So that's why they recommend to use a matte shade, because the shimmer just kind of tends to muddy out. And for me, I use a cream concealer to contour, and then the bronzer is a powder. I feel like the two of those combined is a perfect combination. But that's just me. Everyone's different. You guys will figure out what it is that you love. Okay, I think I've covered mostly all of this right now, and then I'll go over more of it as we go. So the product that we're going to start with is going to be the highlight. And so I'm going to actually take shade 16. I don't know what shade you ladies got. You guys can let me know and we can go from there. But I'm going to take shade 16 because it is a little bit lighter, and I'm just going to dab into that shade 0 just a smidge, just to get a little bit of that lightener on there. And then I don't know if you guys have looked up, and I can post this photo for you after we're done here, for those of you that are going to follow along with this video later. The shape of your face will really determine how you want to contour it. There is a basic contour that everyone can use no matter what your face shape is. It's just a simple one, and that's going to be what I show you guys today. But you can get really in depth with your makeup based on your face shape. Like if you're someone that has a more round face, then there are methods during highlighting and contouring that you can use to slim your face down. I'll show you a little bit of that today as well. But there's an image that has all of it, and I'll save that into the group for you guys. It's okay, Deborah. I was late too. I lost power today with the storm, so it is totally okay. All right, so we are going to start with our lightener, the hide and seek in the lighter shade, okay? And we're going to start right here and just I kind of just create this little like fan out flower bloom, whatever you want to call it here. And again, you're just going to be lightening where your face is usually light. So before you put makeup on, it's hard once you've put foundation on, right? Because you can't see those areas much anymore. But when you look at your face in the mirror before you put makeup on, you can see, and you can still kind of see like where the natural shadowing happens and where the areas are more bright, like just naturally. So where the areas are more bright are going to be, you know, right here, down the bridge of the nose a little bit. Definitely right here. And then kind of right here is a little light. I don't ever put a whole lot there. And then right here. I'll put a little bit more there so that you guys can see it for sure. Get my hair out of the way. And then another area is going to be right here. And I always go just right above right there at your Cupid's bow as well. Now, you can fill this in if you want. Some people that have much younger skin than mine will go all the way up to their under eye. But for me, the older I get, the more that likes to crease. So I don't go as close to my eye as I used to, but you can. Especially if you're someone that has dark circles, then you may want to go up a little further, but that's just completely up to you guys. Okay, I'll give you guys all a moment that are following along. Hi, Heather. How are you? This doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just kind of edging it out a little because we're following along on the Teams meeting, and I'm just giving them time to get to where I'm at so that we can all go with the same pace here. Don't forget to put in the comments of what you would like the next class to be. And don't forget to share the video from the Makeup for Dummies group, because I'm going to do a share drawing at the end of this video, at the end of this class, for a bundle of 5 free Matte Matters lipstick samples. Wings and brows. Interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna take my beauty blender, and we're not trying to blend this into the rest of our face. We're just trying to blend it where it is. So you want it to fan out, but you don't want your highlight to go all over your face. We're not trying to just cover our foundation with this. So you want to stay like in that central area. You don't want to move it. Okay, so see how it just brightened that entire area. So we're just going to kind of keep that in a central location. And you can kind of see that when you do that, you're showing that contour where that's going to go already. And I do that, like I just pinch that beauty blender, and that helps to kind of keep that all in one area. Spray paint on my hand. Too many projects going on all the time. Okay, so now you can kind of see all of these areas. You can see that this area is much brighter than the rest of my face. This area is much brighter, and you can see that the evident contrast in between, right? Now we will go in with our contour shade. And if you have never used, what shades are you ladies using that are doing the video with me? Ginger, Sharon, what shades did you guys select for the contour shade? 3. Oh, okay. So do you have a contour? Do you have a hide and seek in a darker shade at all? Okay. So you'll just want to save this video for when you get that. That way you can follow along. You'll want to skip this part and just do with your bronzer, but just make sure that you don't do it too dark so that you don't muddy it out. And once you do that for the first time, you'll realize exactly what I mean by muddy. You'll be like, oh, that's what she was talking about. And then you'll know the next time to just not apply it as much. But I don't think really anybody else can tell that. It's personal preference really too. But so I'm going to use the shade 18. Now this is going to seem super dark and super scary. Okay. What shade is it, Amber? I bet it's not. Hi, Kay. Thank you. I bet it's not too dark. Oh, no, that's okay. Oh, did you mean for your highlight? Maybe she's talking about her highlight color. For you, the shade 1 is, I think, definitely. But that's okay. If you have a lighter foundation, you can do that for the highlight. Either way, you'll know when you go back to this video that you can follow these steps. Like every tutorial that I ever watch, I pause it along the way and just do my makeup with that person, whoever it is that I'm watching. That's literally how I learned to do makeup. And so save this video, right? And then come back to it. It's also on my YouTube channel. It'll be in the Makeup for Dummies group as a live video as well. So save it. And then when you get these products, so the products I've used so far is the Hide and Seek Concealer in the lighter shade. I started with the Stage Ready Foundation. And so I'm going to highlight and contour just with these 2 products right here. A light shade of Hide and Seek. Here, I'll just put these up here. That's what we're doing. So obviously you can see that that's a pretty drastic difference, right? But I'm going to show you how to do that and blend it out to where it's okay. Hi, Marilyn. Pam is new to makeup. Patricia's new to makeup. I did have a beginner class. I probably should do another one of those. This is a little more advanced. I think everyone that's in this class, as far as the do along with us, was in the beginner class as well. Okay, Marilyn, well, we're about to contour. We just lightened our face. We lightened in the areas, and so you can see that in the playback if you didn't catch that part. So contouring is to define areas that you want to stand out as far as chiseling, but it's really to hide areas, right? So even though you're defining the cheekbone, what you're doing is you're hiding the fat of your cheek, right? Like I have a pretty round face. I have pretty round cheeks. And so when you talk about contouring, it's because you want to get rid of the appearance of the roundness. You can't, you could take a suctioner in there and pull some of that cheek out, I guess, in surgery, but this is the way to do it on an everyday basis and not have to do that. It's the same thing for someone that has a larger forehead. I don't have a huge forehead, but I do contour up there just a little bit to kind of bring that visual down. And then it's the same thing with anyone that has a double chin of any kind. Then we're going to contour that out as well. And we're going to define that cheekbone or that jawbone right there. Oops, wasn't ready for that. We're going to define that so that it appears as if you have a very chiseled face. It can make your contouring slims your face so much. If any of you guys did not do a before photo, tomorrow morning when you wake up, we're going to take an after photo today, right? Tomorrow morning when you wake up, take that before photo, or even do your makeup without highlighting and contouring at all tomorrow, and make that be your before, or without contouring and with highlighting and contouring, and just look at the difference, because the difference in the slimness of your face can be night and day, and I'm going to teach you how to do that. Have you, Marilyn? All right. I know I've done it a few times. I usually just go to bronzer. I was just talking about the fact that I'm lazy with my makeup, and so I just usually use bronzer all the time. But all right, so I have some notes here. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys basically where almost anyone would want to contour if they're going to. And then I'll show you the areas that I contour, that I add a little extra. And I'll tell you a few places that maybe you would want to in a more like in more depth than what I will. For instance, anyone that has a wider nose will want to do a little more contouring in that area than I do, but that's a personal preference thing as well, okay? So they say that you can draw a 3 right here. I've never done that way, but that's so funny to me because it is very true that if you drew a 3 right here, that would be a pretty standard area. I'm not going to do that because I am going to be showing you how to chisel and not create more roundness. So the way that I do this, and there's a lot of different ways to contour, but the way that people are contouring today is a little bit different. And so I'll show you that as well. Okay. So we're going to take that dark shade. We're going to start at this right above our ear, right? And we're going to just take this line. Don't be scared. It's okay. Now, usually, maybe like 5 years ago in the contouring game, especially, they would tell you to just leave this here. They might say to come down maybe a little bit further, and that's really just where you want to leave it. Well, now, and you can come down a little bit more as well here, and we're going to fade this down. So I'll show you that. But now they say to come forward and to kind of swoop down. And some people even go closer to their mouth than that. I like to leave this gap because I feel like the closer that you get to your, like, it's not realistic that your cheekbones would be that close to your mouth. Okay. I don't like to get that close. So, but I have seen people come, you know, I think originally it was like you could come to the almost center of your eye. I personally think that that's too far, but you guys will navigate through your own makeup routine on your own. Okay. It's going to be, again, a personal preference. And you'll notice in this that if it just doesn't look right, I mean, the first time you contour, post it in the Makeup for Dummies under this video and say, hey, how did I do? And let me, you know, I can tell you, hey, it may tend to look a little unnatural here if you come a little too far or whatever, because it's about the areas that are naturally shadowed on your face. We're just enhancing those areas. So you don't want to go in and try to create depth in a place that never really has depth, because then it might look off. Okay. So we're going to go here. And then I'm going to go ahead. Now I don't get anything else on my brush for this one, because my main contour point is this one right here. Okay. And that's really the same for everyone because that's the focal point. So I'm not going to put any more product on my brush, but I am going to go right here because you're really wanting this to go all the way to that hairline, right? And then because we're over here, I'm going to go ahead and lightly. Now, I say lightly. It's going to depend on how definitive you want that jawline. But for me, because I use a darker shade and when I go to blend that out, I don't want to lose the blendability that I have right here. I don't want it to look like all of a sudden I have a makeup line. And so sometimes I will go back in with foundation and kind of just buff that out a little, but this kind of saves you from having to do that. Okay. So we'll go ahead and go to the other side. That way I don't confuse you guys. So you're going to go right above the ear. And you can kind of just swoop and then make sure that they look similar. And then what I might do, sometimes if I went up a little further, I'll go in and just correct that a little bit so that I know that they look the same. And then I might go up and, because this here, it depends on how, if you go like this, for me, you want it to come and fold right there, right? So it really depends on how high you want your cheekbones to look. I just messed that up. How high you want your cheekbones to go or to look. And sometimes that's different on different days. Like if I want to have a super glam look, then I may put that line a little higher. If I'm really just wanting a little bit of depth, then I might go a little lower. So that Doesn't always have to be the same, but it's going to be pretty similar most of the time. Most of the time, you're not contouring with a cream contour that's dark like this unless you're really going for a little bit of a more drastic look. Hi, Paula. I'm good. How are you? All right. So this one. And like I said, we'll blend this out, so that's okay. And then I'm gonna go in, thank you, Christina, just with what's on this brush here, blend this out. And I might take a little bit from this right here if I notice I still have product up there, but I'm not usually adding a whole lot of product at that jawline. And because I'll show you what it will do it regardless, really. Oh, it's okay, Sharon. We're gonna go over with bronzer. I think the 3 is really okay because it's a cooling color still, and you're still creating a little bit of depth there as well. So now we're gonna take that contour again, and we're just gonna kind of go up around a little bit here. Now, if you do not feel the need to conceal any of your forehead down, like if you don't feel like, oh, I want to hide a little bit of my forehead, then you don't have to go all the way around, okay? You can kind of stop right here and just make sure that you're to that hairline, and then you're kind of just doing this little bit of a V right here, okay? If you do want to kind of conceal a little bit of your forehead, then you'll want to go all the way around, okay? I'm really just doing one line. I usually don't even blend as much as I did right there until I'm like actually blending, but now, obviously, anyone looking at how dark this is definitely going to think that this is never going to turn out right? And it's crazy once you start blending how natural it will look. It just doesn't in this moment, right? So now I'm going to, now some people, because they really want to accentuate that lightness right there, will just barely dust a little bit there. I don't ever do a whole lot of that. And we'll blend that with our brush. So no worries there. And then, and you can do this with bronzer too, but the way to conceal this, like this double chinness right here, is to just take that brush and just go over it. And we'll blend it in a moment. But do you see how once you've shadowed it, it's like gone, okay? And you're gonna wanna connect it to that jawline a little bit. And if you notice that your double chin kind of like goes over like mine does, you can kind of just keep going with that. But like I said, we'll blend it so that it doesn't look like we have a makeup line. But But that is definitely the first and foremost when trying to get rid of a double chin, is to just contour that area right there and get rid of it. Because when there's a shadow there, it's not prominent. It's not showing up that way. And then I'm going to contour down my nose just a little bit. This is something that some people will do more than others, but for those of you that would want to, Patricia, I would say her question was, Amanda, what would you recommend for us newbies that are new to makeup from Rain Beauty? I would say to start with the Stage Ready Foundation. Definitely. The Starstruck Mascara, the Rose Water, the Lock and Roll, and any of probably the Cabin Fever eyeshadow palette. That's where I would start. And then you can add things from there. Or if you wear blush or you've worn blush, then definitely the Heat Wave blush. It's really just up to you. Hey, Dawn. So now some people will do a little bit of a wider contour on their nose. I've seen some people go in and like create that little button nose there. There's like a million ways to contour your nose, right? I'm just going to go in like this. For me, I would focus more on my forehead versus my nose, but everyone's different, right? It depends on where your problem areas are. Contouring is really based on your problem areas. So it just depends for each individual person what those are. So I know that I look crazy. So Lock and Roll is the setting spray. And it just kind of helps, especially in the summer months when you're finished with your makeup and you spray it with the Lock and Roll, it kind of just sets everything in and it smells amazing. Smells amazing. So I'm going to go ahead now. Sometimes I will use the beauty blender for this. Today I am going to use a brush, and I'll show you what kind of brush I'm using, but you can do either. For me, the beauty blender tends to blend it out a little. So if you are using the beauty blender, make sure that you're pinching it like as tight as possible so that you're not getting rid of your lines. Okay. So I have foundation all over me, but here's this size brush right here. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to be tapping over this. Okay. I don't know why we're blurry. Okay. And we're just tapping over it. We're not blending it out so much right yet. And when we do blend this out, it's going to be that we blend it down just a little. Now, you don't want to get in the way of your lightened spot, but so you don't want to blend down too far. But right now, we're just kind of blending it in. And then I will usually go in with the Beauty Blender still, even if I've used a brush, just to make sure that I blend all that color. But as far as keeping this in a central location, I feel like a brush like this does the job. Now, obviously, if I stopped right now, it still doesn't look right, right? So you have to kind of keep going. Rookie is good, thank you. So we're just kind of making sure that this doesn't spread too far out. And then I'm gonna go in with my Beauty Blender and blend a little bit. Because especially if you've never contoured before, again, we're not leaving this like this. This is never what it looks like at the end. But if you've never contoured before, then you're going to feel like this is too dark. But as long, for every time that you feel like it's too dark, it just probably means that you haven't blended enough. So just keep blending. And we'll do this entire side first before going to the other one. That way you can see what that's going to look like at the end. So now I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and I'm going to go, well, first I'm going to take this and I'm going to now I'm going to take my Beauty Blender and I'm going to go in the middle here. keep getting blurry and losing focus. There we go. So I just kind of go in the middle and kind of like fade that line back up a little. And then I make sure I don't have like a lot of dark product on my Beauty Blender. I kind of go around it and do the same thing. Like every time I do a makeup tutorial, I talk about the fact that makeup is a back and forth process. So you always want to make sure that you're blended. And the only way to do that is to kind of go back and forth, especially with cream. I think it's much easier with cream to blend as well. So just kind of fanning out those areas. See how much that lightened just by doing that. Then I'm going to take that. Now I didn't take the Beauty Blender on top of it with the foundation. I just kind of went around it and fanned it out. Buffed it out, whatever you want to call it. So then I just kind of go back in with my brush that still has that product on it and just make sure that I've like pronounced that line again. And then again, I'm just kind of going back and forth to just make sure that I don't have any lines. The same way as if you would go and blend your foundation into your neck. It's kind of the same concept. And it also helps to move that from your mouth a little as well. Now, and then I usually will go in here. And again, just so that it doesn't look like I have a harsh line over there, I just kind of blend that out a little. Hi, Angela, how are you? So go ahead and go above here. Go ahead and go below here again. And then the same thing, I do kind of dust off my Beauty Blender a little bit in the middle just so that we don't have too much dark product on there. So then I'll kind of blend in the middle there just so that that dark meets the lightened space seamlessly. You know, you don't want those harsh lines. Dawn, thank you. You can totally follow along though. I am a true believer that anyone that feels like they don't know how to do makeup, you could watch this video, use these products and apply them step by step with me and it will look the same. You'll at least get the hang of it, right? It's at least practice. So what I'm gonna do, and this is something I do numerous times throughout my makeup routine, is I go ahead and use some setting spray, and it's gonna allow us to blend this even a little bit further to where it's completely seamless before we move on. And then I'll show you the difference before I finish this side of my face, okay? I'm actually only gonna spray this one side. My fan's not in here. I usually check and make sure, but I think it's at my other desk. So I'll have to make sure that next time. This is my favorite fan. I'm doing good, thank you. And sometimes too, I will even, when I have hazelnut and sable both in my makeup bag, especially in the winter when I have like no base tan on my face at all, I will even use just a little bit of sable and call it a day. Like a darker foundation shade totally works as well. You don't have to go, you know, this dark every time. But obviously you can see that like where you want it to create dimension. No, I think it's at my other desk. But my dog is taking his nap in there, so I don't want to wake him. But so I will let this dry just a smidge, and then I'll get this brush and we'll kind of just keep going there. Now, if you have blonde roots, then you obviously have to be a little more careful. I actually have naturally blonde hair, and so when I was a blonde, it is a little harder to contour at your hairline. But if you do not have light hair, then you are going to want to just go all the way up to that hairline, because then that's what allows it to look just completely seamless. Now I'm gonna go in with I used to have a smaller blender than this, but I don't have one anymore, I don't think. I'm gonna pinch this and I'm gonna go in at my nose and I'm just gonna dab at it. I'm not blending it out, I'm just kind of going over it in the same spot. And sometimes even just kind of going in like this and blending that works as well. So, and I think too that, so I will go in and bring this up a little just because I like that to be kind of pronounced. But I think too that even this looks crazy until the rest of it's done. Like most people, even I think like looking at this, be like, oh my gosh, I would never leave the house like that. But it's because you're looking at the lines still, right? It's not until the rest of the makeup comes into play that you realize that it looks good. Okay. So if you're looking at this, and those of you that are doing this along with me, if you're looking at your makeup and you're like, there's no way, trust the process. As long as you're blended, okay, as long as it looks like this, at least this blended, then you're going to be okay for the next step. Okay. So we will go ahead and we can go in at the end too. Any of you, if you're struggling with the darkness at the end, you can always go in and kind of tap some foundation around the edges just to kind of blend it a little more until you're ready for a dark contour like that. You know, for me, I have worn a contour that's this dark before. It just depends. It's like a personal preference too. So now I'm going to go in and blend on this other side. Oh no, Paula. Uh-oh, we'll have to figure that out. You can even use like an eyeshadow brush as far as on your nose as well. I don't, again, I don't have a large like focus on my nose, but there are some of you that will want to do that. It's just depends. Some people that have a small nose still feel like they have a large nose. Like that's just life, right? So you're gonna figure that part out and navigate that part on your own. Angela, no, I haven't looked into it yet. We did it for an incentive before, so I considered like possibly doing it for an incentive again. I just put it in my notes to take a look at when I need an incentive item to do. I do too. I do too. And then we're gonna kind of go in there and just blend out that. No, this is hide and seek in the shade 18. I was just kind of showing the drastic contour method. See how much it like pops the cheekbones. So now you can, like I said, go in. Oh, that's what I did. I used the wrong brush. I think I have another one here. Yeah. You can go in with your highlight shade and kind of pronounce those lines just a little bit more and give it even just a little bit more blendability. So you can kind of just go like this, like this. Thank you, Paula. Getting blurry here again. Also, don't forget to share this video, but share it from the Makeup for Dummies group because that's where I'm going to do the drawing. I'm going to draw at the end of this class for 5. The winner is going to get 5 free Matte Matter samples. So again, you're just kind of wanting to buff around, blend it out, but keep that chiseled line there. And then what I like to do is go ahead and, oh, I didn't spray this side. Did I? Go ahead and spray it all and just make sure we blend it in one last time. I have that pulled up ready for that share at the end. Well, okay. So we'll just blend this one more time once we're finished. The next thing we're going to do is going to be bronzer. I might set this a little bit with some powder, but you don't have to necessarily, but I'll show you guys how just in case. That is definitely more of a drastic, like gives it more of a drastic finish, but that's completely up to you guys. On really just depends on how drastic you want it to be. You know, sometimes, like I said, you'll want a drastic contour and sometimes you won't. I try to let it dry all the way before I blend it again because I don't want to have splotchiness. Oh my gosh, that monster is so good today. Listen, they have these little small cans now. Have you seen these? I'm not an affiliate for Monster at all, but I live by it. Live by it. This is all just concealer so far, Malibu, yes. Thank you, Savannah. I made that actually. Isn't it cute? I made it to show examples of my Sips subscription because I have a Tumblr Sips subscription where you don't know what it is, but you get one every month. And so that is on our website as well. I picked out the one for July, the one that I'm making for all of you guys that subscribe to it in June. That's happening in the one that will go out on July 5th or whatever day. It's so cute. Oh yeah, Deborah, sometimes it's difficult, huh? I know. I do also love Paula Deen's hot sauce. I do. Okay, I think we're really pretty blended. I don't think I have to go in much more. Just kind of tap around, you know. It's pretty blended for the most part. So let's go in with some with some setting powder. Now, again, you don't have to do this, but if you do want a like pronounced line of where that highlight is, you can take your beauty blender and you can just dip it into that setting powder, okay, just like that. And then get off the excess, and I'm just gonna go right there on that line, and I'm gonna let that bake. When you put powder on that you're gonna like brush off in a minute, that means you're just kind of baking it. And I'm gonna go in here as well. Now this is more of like pro class, so that's why I'm just kind of adding it as an extra, but we're gonna leave that right there. And you can kind of go anywhere that you have the lighter shade, okay? It also is gonna make your highlight to where it's really completely bulletproof, like it's not gonna go anywhere. Good morning. I've never had the rain one. Actually, the Monster Peach is the first one I ever even liked. I never used to even like energy drinks. It's so weird but I like peach. So I really like that one. I had to put that one in that cup because it's my second one today and I was trying to drink it a little more slowly and I wanted it to stay cold. So I was like, okay, fine, whatever. So then we're gonna go right here. And you'll want to do this before bronzer because, hi cutie pie, welcome to the party. You'll want to do this before bronzer because when you go in with bronzer, you're going to blend everything and kind of glow it out. So you're going to get rid of this mattified look. I mean, for me, I like to add a little bit of glow so that I don't look completely matte. Caitlin, I use a few different ones. This one is the Airspun. I really like the Laura Mercier, and I have, this one just says banana setting powder. For me, I don't want to say it's all the same. I do think the Laura Mercier is, if and when we ever create a setting powder, it will be that quality, but I kind of get the job done with almost any of them. I do like the quality more of one versus the other, but I feel like they all kind of do the job, you know? Until we have one, of course, and then it'll be perfect and I won't ever touch another one, but we don't have one yet. So now I'm gonna take, you're welcome, I'm gonna take just a fluffy brush and I'm just gonna get rid of this excess. And see how it kind of like chiseled that out even more? And it kind of helps to blend as well, just a little bit. All right, now I'm gonna move on to bronzer, and I'm gonna be using the Beachside bronzer in the shade Bora Bora, which is this shade right here. Patricia, yes, all of the makeup that I'm using other than the setting powder is Rain Beauty. And then the brushes, if it's not a brush that we have, then I'm using it just from my personal collection or from my sample collection. Like for instance, just saying like, this is a sample that we don't, or this is not a brush that we carry yet, but it is a sample that I received of the brush collection that we have. So like, and it's gross, don't look at the handle, right? But so like, for the most part, I have samples of brushes from our vendors that either I've said not yet to, or that we just built around, but it just depends. Marshmallow for now, there you go, that's perfect. So I'm gonna be using just like an angled brush like this. And I'm just gonna dip it in. And because we've contoured, you don't have to use a lot of bronzer here, right? If I hadn't contoured with the concealer, then I may wanna go in a little more heavy with the bronzer, but we're really just going for the glow at this point. So you're just gonna kind of dust over it. And I don't really care to go down and around as much. I really want the glow to mainly be here and here. It's like I dust over certain areas, but it's mainly like this area here that just outlines those lighter areas. And then when I get to areas like this, I just kind of blend a little more, because the bronzer is like allowing your contour to meet your highlight a little bit, and it's kind of just glowing it out a little bit. Now we're gonna go in with highlighter as well. And then sometimes I'll take my fluffy brush and just kind of like, just blend it all around a little bit. And then we're going to take our Hollywood highlighter. I've got to grab that from my drawer here. I really do not use highlighter nearly as much as I should. It's like it's this added step, but in the summer months especially, it is it's a nice glowy effect. And usually I will use like a fanned brush. I only have one of those though, and it's not clean. So I'm gonna just use this fluffy brush as a fan brush and show you. But if you have a highlighter brush, you'll wanna use that. You know what, there might be another one right there actually. I thought I had two. Let me check really quick because there may be one. No, there's not. Oh well, I can give you the same idea. Huh? I do have one. I at least have this one, yes. Thank you. Listen, I have. This is, do you guys see how many brushes I have everywhere? Oh, there we go. Okay, I found it. So yes, these two are great examples. I have so many brushes, you guys, it's insane. I also keep, if you notice, I keep a towel in my lap because I don't like to get makeup all over me. And sometimes I like to just like dust off the brush that I'm using or the blender that I'm using, and keeping a towel in your lap really helps with that. Okay, thank you, Ginger. Look at you. Okay, so here we go. This is the fan brush I'm gonna use today. I also had this one, which I think is the one she spotted, and that's good for either. You can either use that for bronzer or for highlighter. This is just gonna allow us to centralize a little more of this fan brush that we have here. Okay, so we're just gonna go right there. Now, I will tell you, this highlighter is super pigmented, so you have to be careful because you can strobe very quickly and not mean to do that, okay? So now we'll go over here. See what I mean? Almost did it. And then again, I don't like lightener to be everywhere. I don't really like a shimmer everywhere because by the time you've bronzed and then you highlight, so I kind of will just dust a little here, dust a little here, and dust a little here. Now, again, that's a personal preference thing. Some people do like it, but for me, I like to put focus here and here. Another thing I will point out is that when you're doing your makeup, like even looking at myself in the mirror in the camera right now, things look a little more pronounced than what they're going to look 30 minutes from now, right? So that's the biggest part. Like this is going to settle in a little. You're going to blend it to the best of your ability, which this is blended almost to max. If I blend this anymore, then everything's going to be the same shade, right? But once it sets in, it's going to kind of even, I don't know how to explain it. It just kind of evens itself out. And that is when you'll be able to tell, like in an hour, 30 minutes, I'll look at my makeup in the mirror and I'll be like, now it's kind of come full circle. So trust that process too. So now I'm going to take the Heat Wave blush in the shade Flushed, and I'm going to take a blush brush and I'm just going to kind of dab right here. I always start right under the middle of my eye and just kind of work my way out. And bringing that color back in really helps the full circle process too. Some people do their blush before their highlighter. Some people do it after. I like my blush to be a little more pronounced, so I do it after. And I feel like because that Hollywood highlighter is more pigmented, that it kind of shows through. So that's okay with me. And again, this is going to settle down in a second as well. So even though it looks like a lot of color right now, it's really not. I'm going to spray with setting spray and let it dry completely. Then for the most part, the highlighting and contouring portion is done. I will go ahead and quickly do like some eye makeup and just a quick wave over the brow, just so that you can see that once you have done the rest of your makeup, it kind of brings everything full circle. Because sometimes when other parts of your face look a little naked still, it looks like other areas look like it's just too much. But once you have the full face, you really get it. Yeah, Dawn, I do that definitely when I'm doing a full, a heavy eyeshadow look. Oh, my fan, my fan. My fan's at my desk because I was showing it to someone on my Zoom in there. I usually have a checklist of the things I need to make sure I have at my classes, and that's usually on there, and I don't know why I didn't have it on my list today. Okay, we're just setting in. So the center stage and spotlight. Center stage is a more pinkish tone, and spotlight, it's not a yellow tone, but it's not a pink tone. It's hard to explain. I use spotlight because center stage, I let the blush pull the pink for me, but for someone that's like cool toned, the center stage isn't going to look pink on you. It's going to look perfect, you know. Thank you, Dawn. Yes, Pam, it's called Lock and Roll. So see how even setting that in, kind of like, that's why I use setting spray numerous times. People think I'm crazy when they watch me do my makeup. They're like, how many times do you actually apply setting spray to your face? But that's why, because I notice a huge difference right now than I did the last time that I set it, and then it was right before I did it. I just noticed that it kind of brings it all together and sets it in, you know. So I'm going to, I wasn't going to do eyeshadow, so of course I don't even have everything right here, but I'm just going to use Cabin Fever. Just do a little something quick here, just to show you guys how eyeshadow can really kind of pull the whole thing together. Brow. All right, so I'm just going to use the shade Lumberjack from the Cabin Fever palette and just kind of give myself a little bit of color here on my brows, just because obviously being focused on the highlight and contour can make you lose those just a smidge. Also, don't forget to share the video in the Makeup for Dummies group, or from the Makeup for Dummies group. I'm going to be pulling a winner from that probably in about 10 minutes or so. Thank you, Dawn. And the winner is going to get 5 samples of Matte Matters lipstick. We have a brow pen as well, which is amazing. I'm just dusting on with some powder here. Just quick, easy brow. And for this, I start with it dry so that I can blend it. And then what you see me spraying is that Lock and Roll setting spray to go in with a wet brush. Thank you, Alyssa. Hey, Barbara, how are you? Hi, Robin. And sometimes with this, I will purposely go forward like a little too far so that I can go back in with a spoolie and buff it out. And so I'll show you that as well. Because if you try to get that area perfect the first time, it seems like it just looks too blocked off. And I'm going to set again, just because this is how I do this in my brows. If you set it and then you go in and spoolie it once it's completely dry, I find that the blend is just like phenomenal. And I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm gonna let that dry while we're getting our eyeshadow together. My hair looks a little crazy. When I start bronzing and blending, my hair starts coming out of my headband and looks just wild. Wild hair. Okay, so we're not all the way dry yet. Kind of all over the place in this screen as well. Okay, let me get this spoolie out that I just saw so that I can show you what I'm talking about. So by spoolie, I just mean like the end of a mascara wand. This one is a hard bristled one, and that's why I like it, because it kind of adjusts. It's from a mascara that I had from like years ago. But for those of you that use Rain Beauty, when your Starstruck is completely gone, you can take that spoolie and just wash it with soap and water and then use that as a makeup tool to shape your brows. I think a spoolie works way better than a brow brush or a shaper or anything else. I think it works way better. So once it dries all the way, it's still just a little tacky. You want to make sure it's completely dry. Then you'll go in and you're just going to kind of go in and just take that spoolie to the edge. On there. And then sometimes I'll even go underneath. You can kind of even move that product forward if you want to. But you'll see that it kind of takes away the harsh line. And sometimes I'll go back in a little if I notice that it does that too much even. And just kind of shape it back out a little. A toothbrush, that's perfect. And then I just kind of go in and buff that out a little. And then you can see that the line isn't like, you don't want that line to be like super pronounced, because then it looks, I mean, it doesn't look like the realest of brows anyways, but it doesn't look blocky when you kind of just blend back and forth. So I'm not going to set my eyes today. Usually I would do concealer and the whole nine, but I'm going to do just a simple, quick eyeshadow look. And so I'm going to leave that foundation on there from earlier, because that's going to be enough of a base where I don't have to do an entirely new base. And then I'm just going to take the Cabin Fever palette. This is the shade Marshmallow. I'm just going to do a pretty neutral eye. This is the same one I think I did in my beginner class. Kind of go up here and just kind of highlight that area just a little bit. And then I take the shade Fawn from that same palette. And then I will take some Lumberjack and just kind of deepen out the corners. Hi, kitties. And then I'll do a little bit of dark at the corner. Okay. Oh, sounds good to me, kitties. And then too, if you get rid of any of that marshmallow, I always go back in and just pop it on there again, just because I like for that area to look super bright on me. And then I go in with a little bit of Lumberjack on that same brow brush, and I do a smudge underneath. Okay, I'm gonna spray one more time, and then some mascara. Once I find my mascara. Like I said, I wasn't gonna do eye makeup today, and I changed my mind. Don't forget to share this video from the Makeup for Dummies group, because I'm gonna draw a winner as soon as I'm finished. And that person is gonna get 5 free samples of Matte Matters lipstick. Mascara. Okay. I know I have like 13 of them open. It's just a matter of figuring out where it is, which I don't understand, actually. Because I brought my main. Listen, this is always the thing. It's not a makeup show of mine if I don't lose something. I'm telling you. If I find everything, it's not normal. I know, right? I know. I can't wait to clip part of this to show like that difference, because it totally is a difference. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spray, and then I'll find my mascara. It's probably in my purse, from where I just keep one in there. Gotta pop mascara on at any given time, you know. And like I said, obviously, the setting spray is going to give us, every time we use it, it's going to give us a little more of that settling in feeling. Okay, guys, seriously, I have to go grab it. I know where one is. I'm just going to go grab it, so I'll be right back. I need just like 1 minute. Go share this so that I can get that drawing done. I'll go ahead and put the banner up here. To be right back. And then I'll leave you guys in the class up, and I'll be right back, because I think it's up either at my bathroom sink. Apparently I need a new mascara, but I'm going to go grab one and I'll be right back. It's digging at me. Why? Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, guys, sorry. I found it. Okay, so now we're just going to do just a quick coat of mascara, and then I'm going to draw for a winner over here. Those of you that followed along, how do you feel about your contouring abilities today? You feel like it turned out okay? Don't forget to take your after photo, and don't forget tomorrow or one day this week, go ahead and just do your makeup without contouring, and basically without contour, highlight, or blush, just like a flat foundation with your eye makeup. And you can add that stuff after, but I would take a photo. Pam, the beginner bundle, I might be able to bring it back. It was deeply discounted for the class, but I think that we should still have it. Maybe with a discount that's just different than the class one, because that was kind of exclusive to them. But it is a solid bundle for beginners. Like, it really is. The product, you're absolutely right. So let me write that down, actually. I have to take notes when someone gives me ideas or things I need to think on later, because otherwise I won't remember. All right, beginner bundle. And then also, I think what I might do is tomorrow. Okay, awesome, Malibu. That's great feedback. Tomorrow, I think I'll go into the Makeup for Dummies group and draw a winner from anyone that's a member of that group that it has been invited by someone else. It's easier for me to do that when I'm not live, because I can like export the data and then filter it. So I'll make a post in there, but if you guys would invite, you can invite anyone into that group, okay? All of your friends if you want. That way they're there to vote on the next class and all that. And sometime tomorrow, let's say tomorrow evening, sometime I'll go in and do a drawing from anyone that is a member of that group that was invited by someone other than me. So go invite your friends that way, and we'll do a product prize for that person as well. Hi, Vancia, how are you? Right now, I'm gonna go in and draw from the shares of this video from the Makeup for Dummies group. And then I'll make a post too, where you guys can comment underneath what your ideas are for for our next class. And I will post a poll once we have a few ideas under there so people can vote. So keep your eyes peeled in that group. There will be a lot of activity over the next few days, probably. Okay. Let's see here. Let me go into the shares. The container has not been updated, but we store it upside down now. So that should not be a problem anymore, because it's been stored upside down for probably 6 months now, 5 or 6 months. So the settling, should be perfectly fine when you receive it. Should be. Okay, I'm scrolling. Patricia, the beginner's bundle was a bundle that we had that contains 7 products that are basically like staple products for beginners. And then we had a deep discount on those for our first beginner class. But I wrote down to consider bringing the bundle back. All right, the winner is Robin Lester. Robin Lester is the share winner. So I'm writing that down. Robin's going to get some free Matte Matters samples. I'll make sure that I have your address. And then for those of you that followed along in the class, make sure you guys take your after photo. And then everybody else, just keep your eyes peeled in the group. And I'll be posting about the next class, next ideas, all that good stuff. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with me.